Excellent. So I thought this week it might be nice for us to go over a post that someone posted in our Discord instead of the Pine Script channel, um, where let's actually just take a look at it and see what they have to say. So this user was asking, I'm refining a TradingView strategy that uses defined profit targets and stop loss based on risk reward ratios based on previous candle values. So basically a strategy running in TradingView. The strategy works well, but I would like to send the profit and loss limit orders in the JSON to ensure that those orders are on TradeVate and hopefully avoid some slippage through the order exit alert. I have a couple of questions. One, what is the correct JSON to accomplish this? The TradersPost documentation provides some examples which include specific profit and loss price values. Can I use variable to dynamically update this for each order? And two, if I send the profit loss orders with the entry alert, when the TradingView strategy fires the exit order, would this result in a duplicate orders causing problems? So the idea here is that they one want to be able to send a bracket order along with the entry order, and then they're worried about how to set that up so that you can actually have the price that's relative to wherever that entry price is.
Yep.
And then secondly, they want to make sure that orders in the future won't conflict with those take profit and stop loss levels, because their strategy is also sending out alerts. So I figured we'd set something up quick where we can see how that works on the second half of today's stream. And in the first half, I figured, hey, let's set up a VWAP strategy, because after Mike introduced this to me a couple of months ago, my life has never been any better. I've been having some great trades, understanding what's going on over there. It's been pretty good.
VWAP is great. I don't know how well we're going to be able to answer the second part of that question, which I think has to do with potentially adding to your existing position, like having multiple signals coming through.
I didn't read it that way.
I
read it as from what I understood is that they're concerned that an alert will still fire from TradingView because of the strategy on the exit order, and they're worried, hey, if it fires there, is it going to try to exit again? But if there's no JSON payload for that, then nothing will exit.
Well, that's true. But if they do want it to work that way, sending an exit signal will cancel the take profit and stop loss orders and exit the positions. We have designed it to work that way.
Correct. Yeah. But if they have the bracket order, then it's overkill, right?
No, not necessarily. Like sometimes something might happen, like some kind of volatility event, and you want to exit the position before the take profit or stop loss orders have executed. So ideally, like we can still run through this example where you can send a final exit signal, and that will cancel the take profit and stop loss and exit your position.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So let us set this up here. 1 second.
John mentions here in the comments here that if the take profit and stop loss with the broker executes at the same time as the exit alert, then yes, you would have a race condition. I'm operating under the assumption that the exit signal would come many moments later.
Exactly. And hello to the chat. I'd like to thank everyone who's here watching. I expect at some point we're going to have thousands of people logging into our shows in order to watch what we're doing live. And so it's very, you're at the tippy top. If you're one of the first people here, you're OG, you're grandfathered in. We appreciate it.
And we're getting to know people by name here. So all you cool people who keep checking in to all of our episodes here, I love it. Hey, Danielle, good to see you here.
So I love the tightrope of coding live. So let's do that here.
It's my favorite process. Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is set up a simple VWAP just to begin with. All right. My microphone nice and blocking me.
While Tom's working on this part, I can kind of elaborate on VWAP if you guys are interested. The VWAP is basically the volume weighted average price. And depending on how you have it set up, typically it's measuring from the start of the session. So it's kind of least helpful in the first several minutes of a session because it hasn't really collected a whole lot of information. But essentially what we're doing is we're calculating the moving average divided by the volume to get the volume weighted average price, meaning that if volume ticks up quite a bit, that price is going to have a bigger impact on that moving average than previous prices will. And so what this kind of shows you is where market participants are really showing up at different price points, which is why VWAP is really kind of an important indicator, because it combines both the moving average of the price, but also volume.
Perfect. So here, just setting up a simple VWAP. We'll add that to the chart.
Hey, Brady, good to see you again. Familiar face.
Okay, so here we're on the NASDAQ futures and we have VWAP showing. I have it set to, let's just go to the 15-minute, might be easier to see. Let's go 5. So what we're seeing here is that it's calculating the volume weighted average price here, but it resets on every day. So here at 6 o'clock at night, it's Eastern Standard Time, it's resetting the VWAP calculation as opposed to
electronic hours. Okay.
Oh yes. I should go to regular trading hours. Yeah, let's go to regular. As opposed to having a moving average that would just take all of it into consideration.
Yeah, which is like equal weighted, right? Every price has equal impact on the moving average, where volume weighted average price, wherever we see big spikes in volume, that's going to lift the VWAP considerably.
That's right. VWAP also in PineScript has an optional field called standard deviation multiple. And so here I'm passing 2, which allows me to get the 2 standard deviations above and below the VWAP level, which is showing here. So I'm getting a 2 pullback, the first one being the VWAP, and then I'm getting the upper and lower ranges. And I could plot those as well in order to see them on the chart. It is absolutely bothering me to see them like this. So let's just reduce the color a bit. And then we're going to fill in. Let's fill upper and lower with color. Something really pale. Okay, so we have something that looks more like a traditional indicator that we would normally see. So what we're going to want to do here is, how about this, Mike? I'm wondering if there's all kinds of strategies we can run for the VWAP. One of my favorite ones is checking the previous value of the VWAP before close, and then taking a trade based on where we are relative to that. So it may or may not work, because alternatively you can wait for pullbacks. You can wait till the VWAP has continued for a bit and make a trade. And I always have to remember here, Mike, that we're not trying to make strategies that are winning strategies right here. We're just trying to show people how this works. So let's go with actually, that might be interesting here while we're at it. Let me just show how you can plot the previous VWAP level for the same day. What do you think
interesting.
about that?
Yeah, just so like we always see what the lag looks like.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I like trading based on the previous day's VWAP. So let's just have a VWAP previous setup here. We'll make it var so that it's a fixed value. It'll be nothing. You have to make sure you're afloat. Okay, and what we'll do here is that right now we're setting the VWAP to change whenever the day changes. We can send this from day to a week if you wanted this to be a weekly VWAP. That can work as well. So what I want to do here is whenever the time frame does change, so let's just call it, I should set it up properly.
For those of us joining just for ASMR on keyboard sounds, we'll spend some long silent periods just letting Tom do his thing.
I you know what, I couldn't tell how loud is the mechanical keyboard.
It's like perfect. If you're in love with that sound, then our channel is awesome right now.
So here I'm setting up the previous VWAP, and I'm going to say that when we're in a time frame change, so when the time frame changes on D, we want to go ahead and give this value of the previous VWAP. So the VWAP on the bar previous to the one that we're on, and if it's not that, we just want it to be whatever value was in the previous VWAP to begin with. So there's a ternary operator. If this is true, then this will happen. And if that's not true, then this will happen. So then if we plotted this, we should get the previous days. Let's make you Aqua. Okay, there we go. So now we have on our chart the current VWAP over here, the current VWAP. Come on, you, never mind. We have the previous VWAP over here, and then the current one over here. So what we'll do is, if we are above the previous VWAP, we're going to consider that to be bullish, and we'll go long. And we'll go long. What do you think? How about we go long after X number of bars? What do you think about that?
The one VWAP strategy I have working right now is looking for a full close above or below. So the low has to be above VWAP and the high has to be below VWAP to decide if it goes long or short. That's actually been pretty effective.
See, that's a good strategy. We're supposed to give.
Oh, sorry, giving secrets away. My bad. Ignore everything you just said. That doesn't have it. No, just kidding.
Well, what we'll do is, because this happens all the time for some of my clients, they want to ignore the first number of bars. They want to ignore X number of bars. So we'll do that.
So I'm actually doing that too. I think I have a time filter that ignores the first 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll do bars instead, so I don't have to calculate the time. So then we'll say here, it'll be VWAP. No, time frame change bars since, and so this variable will tell us how many bars it's been since. I'll show you guys here since the time frame change. So I take a look at my data window. We have this variable that we set up here, and it's saying that the bar that we're on right now is 69 bars since the time frame change. And if you'll notice that if I move my cursor back, it'll go all the way back, and the number will reduce all the way till we get to 0, which is when the time frame has changed. And then before that, it'll start counting again. So we can say that we only want a trade to happen after a certain number. So let's just to make that a little bit more visible for us, what we'll say is that, and I know I'm not organizing my code in any way that's like pretty, whatever, let's just get it out. But I'm going to say for background color, if the bar since is less or equal to, let's go with 15, then let's color the background red. Okay. I love when TradingView says trade. You set up these alerts. Go and do your trade. 80 and otherwise nothing. All right, so here we're just giving ourselves an indicator that no trade will happen in these red zones. And now we want to actually set up our trades, and what we want is a buy condition. If the time frame bar since, so the number of time, if we're not in this red zone, so if we are above 15, and the price, our closing price, or let's call it the low, is above the previous day's VWAP, in which case here it's VWAP previous, and you know what? We don't even want it to be above 15. We want it to be if it equals 16, right? Because we want this only to happen on the bar. Exactly.
Yeah, on the 16 bar.
Perfect. So equals 16. And then we want the sale to happen at 16 and the high is below previous VWAP. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and enter a trade. Come on, you. Entry, you'll be a buy and long. You'll be a short. Let's see what this looks like. We should get, we're not in strategy. Let's go back. Let's change this to strategy. Do we have any trades here? Let's see. So we're getting a buy here. Oh, I'm missing something. Why? We're getting some trades. I'm just trying to see why we're not getting the other ones. Buy is happening. You're below no buy, but you should be a sell. Oh, because we're crossing, the price is crossing the VWAP, so we don't have a clear defining factor here. So what if instead, just because I want to see a trade on each one, let's not go with the candle price. We'll just see if the current VWAP is above the other one. So we'll just say the current VWAP.
Simple enough.
Yeah. And that we'll get a trade on every day.
Okay.
We don't have here. Current VWAP. There's a value, yeah, it's above. 16, yeah. Oh, let's make sure. Let me just print a label here so we can see. Yeah, it's supposed to be firing there.
What's going on?
This must be something to do with.
Oh, are you not exiting your positions?
That's right. So let's change these to orders because it'll only do one in direction until the other one changed. So now this one will work. Perfect.
There we go.
So what was going on over there is that I was using strategy.entry, and strategy.entry will by default only allow me to do one trade in a given direction. So here it was a buy, and because it's a buy, the sell exits that position, and now I can do the sell. But it won't allow me to do another buy unless I had pyramiding on. So over here, I've had pyramiding, let's say set to 2. Now another trade will happen here. If I have it set to 3, then another one will set to here, and so on. But if I don't want to do that, and I don't want to take every long and every short, I would change entry to order, and then it would completely ignore the pyramiding factor. Okay, so we had that set up. What the poster on Reddit was talking about is being able to there was a take profit and stop loss. So we'll do that here. So actually, I don't even want this to be. Let's actually go back to entry because I want a stop loss, take profit. Heck, let's get the entry price as well. All right. Now when we're in the trade, we want to, I'm just going to display on the chart where our take profit and stop loss will be. So I'll say that if our strategy position size is above 0, which means we're in a trade, then I want the entry price to be the average price. So the average price is, in our case, will be the entry price because we're not adding any extra orders. If you didn't want that, you can use something else and like actually get the entry price with this guy, entry. So we can use entry price of open orders in order to get the actual entry price in case we were doing a more complex order structure, but we don't need that at the moment. We'll just use average price, the stop loss. Let's say we want that to be, I
guess the poster was looking for something relative to the previous candle. It kind of reminded me like of an ATR stop where you set your take profit and your stop loss relative to some number of ATR, some multiplier of ATR. I'm not sure if we want to just bake in an ATR multiplier. It was unclear exactly how they were calculating their take profit and stop loss based on previous candles.
Yeah, it seemed like the core of the question was more about how the JSON should be structured. So I figured let's just get a stop loss take profit and
it could just go. Let's just go 1% down, 2% up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So 1 second.
I know that's not connected to the previous candles, but just as an example here.
Correct. Just got something. All right, so I have that function here I normally use. All right, call percent, and that way it just calculates the, this I use in order to calculate just easily toss in my percentage and to get the price above and below. And also if I wanted to convert that into ticks, there's all kinds of different circumstances where I want it to be ticks. So I'll just leave that there for you guys to play with if you want it.
I like the ticks option too. I might steal that from you.
No problem. So then I take the entry price over here, percent. I want since I'm using a method, the first number, I could just use a dot notation in order to grab the entry price, which is one of the reasons I like having entry price stored. I know I could just use this guy, but I hate repeating the variable again and again.
It's longer.
Yeah. Let's say I want my stop loss to be 1% down. Is 1% enough? Yeah, let's go 1% down. I want my stop loss to be lower than the entry price. So I'm doing false. and then my take profit. Be entry price percent. Let's do 2, and we want the price to be higher. And then, so this condition strategy above 0 will be true for every bar in which my position is above 0, where I'm in my position. So I'm going to do a strategy exit order here, and what I'm going to do is close my buy position with a stop of stop loss, which we just calculated, and a profit limit is the profit, right? Take profit price, yes. So take profit. Take profit, perfect. So this will be set up constantly. My strategy exit will be called constantly, but it doesn't really matter because my variables are going to be the same all the time. Let's just set this up again for the sell. I'm just closing. All right, you'll keep an eye on the chat. If Peter says that it's too boring, I'll spice it up.
We've got some interesting side conversations here. You keep doing you.
So this will be true for stop loss. It will be the opposite for take profit. Our exit will be from the sell position. All right, and we'll just display this on the page so we can see what it looks like. So we're going to display entry price. Color new, color silver. Let's make it 50% opacity. I want the stop loss to be red. And take profit to be green. So now this will be updated. We're going to see on our chart the take profit and stop loss updated constantly. It's a little bit janky right now. So let's what we're going to want to do is that when we're doing a first we want this to be a step line. It's not dynamic, so let's just change this to line with 1, and we'll do plot step line break, because we're not going to want that line to be continuous. So we won't have this diagonal look. It'll be a straight line up. No, I didn't do step line. Step line break. So instead of having this diagonal, it'll be a straight up line. And I don't want this change from one to another. So I'll say that when the price has changed, so let's go with if time frame, let me do time frame bar sense. If time frame bar sense is above 0 and time frame change bar sense is below or equal to 15, I'll just do below or equal to 15. Then I wanted to return NA, otherwise return the value, and that way it won't cross over. We'll just have the, oh, did I not do it properly? If it's below 15, NA, if it's above, that should have shown. I'm missing something here. You're showing entry price. Oh no, it's fine. It's working. So over here, we're not getting the take profit and stop loss are not continuing, but I don't like this part over here where we're getting these dashes. So let's just make this 16 instead. So that way it'll start afterwards. This won't change whether or not the values are actually there. It'll just change whether or not we see it on the chart. And let us fill this in a bit so we can make it pretty for ourselves. So we'll store the plots.
I'm just waiting for the comments to ask how you're coding on 3 lines at once. For anybody who's not aware, one of the coolest upgrades that TradingView implemented was VS Code-like functionality. And if you hold the Alt key, you can select multiple lines at the same time. There's also some keyboard shortcuts that let you use the keyboard to actually select multiple lines at the same time. But that's super useful when you're editing multiple lines in the same way. And that's what Tom was just doing there.
Yeah, you can get them all through the keyboard shortcut over here. There's way more than, where is it? Keyboard. Anyways, there's a keyboard shortcut somewhere here.
John corrected me. He reminded me you have 3 keyboards, so that makes more sense.
Okay, well, I forget where it is here. Oh, there it is. Keyboard shortcuts. And then this one's here. I keep trying to learn all of them. There's all kinds of other fancy ways you can learn it, but, you know, it feels like it takes more time. All right, so here, let me just fill it up so we can see. Great. That'll be a little bit prettier. Ooh, a little bit too stark. Let's put it at 2.
Fancy.
Pretty. So there we go. Perfect.
Man,
we got
you
stop loss, take profits.
definitely write much better code than I do. This is why you're in charge of this process, because my code is spaghetti code. And I get it to work. I mean, it's functionally accurate, but this is clean.
So we'll just quickly set this up because I do want to give this script to. We're always going to post these scripts inside of the comments. Actually, I have to make sure I did it for the first one. I did save it on TradingView, but let me make sure I post it. But we're always going to post these scripts. So I just like to make the quality of life a little bit better. So what we're going to do here? No, you know what? It's yeah. Let's just take 5 minutes to do that. So here I want the time frame. Here, that way it's all editable. And over here, time frame replace D, time frame here. All right, I'm going to want, let's go with VWAP source. Close. You know what, we'll call the source and we'll have a group for VWAP. So it'll be, no, it doesn't matter. Time frame source, and then it'll be, what was it? Yeah, standard deviations. 2. So that way you're here. You're here, we can edit you guys. We're going to want to make sure the standard deviation source never goes below 0.
I can't have -2 standard deviations.
No. It's so funny. I go into different people's scripts and I'll just like hit the inputs, try to get to a value that doesn't make any sense. Then I'll go, okay, attention to detail.
Sure.
I know I get an error on the screen, but don't let me do it if I can't do it. All right. So that's that. Oh yeah, the stop loss and take profit. So let's put that in the group VWAP. And then we'll have for trades, it'll be stop loss, float, stop loss, group trades.
Aventura asks if these are available after the live streams to play around with. Yes, we've published previous scripts before, after the fact. We can definitely publish this one. And of course, we always keep these videos up on our YouTube channel in perpetuity, forever, cemented into history.
We do not promise that it's bug free or anything like that,
or
it's
profitable for that matter.
That's right. In fact, I'd be very upset if it was profitable. Like, I will not take kindly to that. Take it down immediately.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than spending like 7 weeks on a strategy that you've put all this thought into just to code one in an afternoon session here on this show, and it's more profitable than what I put together. Absolutely.
Perfect. -4%. So in the strategy,
we are going for losses here, people, not gains.
And perfect. So I can change it to order 1. If I want this to be a weekly strategy, I can. And if I want to reduce the, take profit or whatever, I can. Okay, great. So let's start default and get to the first question. Actually, let me lower the take profit because I want us to see a close position here. So let's lower it by, let's step.
I guess we need kind of an, to my point earlier about the take profit stop loss scenario, where if neither one of those triggers, we still want to maybe exit the position, you might consider adding a close at end of day function here, which would be our exit criteria.
Perfect. So we'll do that. We'll do it when time frame changes, exit. So we'll say if time frame changes, then we want to strategy close all. And it'll be end of day.
Is that end of day or is that the beginning of the next day?
Well, let's do, you're right, it is the beginning of the next day. Okay, let's set a specific thing just for the sake of this. We'll do if the bars is equal to 50. We'll do that. So we'll just stop in the middle if we don't get to. There. So we'll always have a closed session over there. Now we have to add one more thing, and that is our alerts, right? So one of the things that the user was asking about here is that they wanted to know if the prices for the stop loss and take profits can be dynamic. So relative to the entry price. So that's what we're going to do over here. But we can. And one of the easiest ways of doing that is to use the alert messages that we can pass through on the strategy calls. So here we're going to set up an alert for the, let's do the entry prices first. So
Yeah,
here
I
it'll
guess
be
one way to maybe demonstrate this is to put the take profit and stop losses into variables that need to end up being plotted, and then we're going to end up putting that in a placeholder, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So do profit entry buy. Let's just do it shorter. No, wait, that works. All right. Entry buy. Entry sell. Here I'm just setting up variables that will store our JSON string, as opposed to having to create an alert for in the panel here in TradingView for every single one of the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Here, comment loss, alert loss, stop loss. Yeah, stop loss, take profit, alert, and then here. Okay. Finally, we need all of you. Hello, alert messages. Come with me. We need to go up here. Paste all of you. All right. I'll use I for TradesPost. I'll use X for me. All right. Let's input text area. For all of you, nothing in the default field. We're going to messages, and we'll be in the group alerts. Here it's going to be buy, stop loss. Oh, it's the same problem. I forgot this last one. Stop loss and take profit. So we have our alert messages, fields that will appear here. So we're going to populate these guys with our JSON string, but we're going to want to replace the take profit and stop loss placeholders, our own placeholders, with the values that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use a. I think I have a quick one that I could use here. Okay, let's. I'm just pasting something that I have here. Let's. It's not. We're gonna have to refine it a bit. 1 second. Thanks. All right, so we don't need you. That's a string. Let's go with. We'll just need the stop loss and take profit. Can you tell I do this often enough? Jiminy Cricket.
100%. I think everyone else can too, which is where the where the magic is.
That's right. Let's pass. Global valuable should be available to us here. All right, so what we want is these alert messages. We're going to make sure that they pass through. I only have 4 here. I should have 5. Yeah, I missed 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll pass them. Remember, they're a method, so I can use a dot notation tags. And do I need bullish or bearish? No, I don't need bullish or bearish on these guys because we're only using the same value for each. But what I want to do is pass my, I'm going to want to pass the stop loss. I'm going to want to pass the take profit. So that way, those values can use here. This is not the best way of going about it. I'm just doing a simple way for you guys to see. So stop loss and take profit. So what happens here is that the method, stop loss, take profit. This method over here will grab the string. So I'm passing it the alert message. That'll be the alert message I have inside of the box here. And since I'm going to be having my own custom placeholders, I want to make sure that those placeholders are replaced with a stop loss and the take profit values. I want to also make sure that I use a format min tick. So I want to turn that number into a string, but I want to make sure that string is in the format that we recognize, like the decimal point. So I use format min tick, so it'll show up like the price that shows up on the chart. And then I'm replacing that in the message. So wherever that appears in the message, it'll replace. And at the end, it'll return that message. It'll make more sense in a second when you see it. So over here, I'm saying that I want to pass the stop loss and take profit values. So I'll do that here for each tag. I will pass the stop loss and take profit values. Okay, so now if I just take a simple JSON, let's say I were to just log this. Well, let's do it this way. In my buy, I'm going to log info and I'll log you.
This is another recent feature that I'm glad that PineScript integrated, or TradingView integrated as part of PineScript, is the log. The log info, or log and variation of the different methods that they have available, gives you a nice stream of information as your strategy moves from left to right, which is super nice if you want to keep an eye on what's happening inside of the loop.
So over here, every time a buy signal has happened, so for example, if I click on the little scroll to bar and go to wherever that the trade would be, and I'm saying, yes, I'm buying. But I want to make sure that when I put in my placeholder, stop loss, that and take profit, that those values are available. And so over here, 1 second. So here I'm passing the variable, but I'm not using the tags method. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that on. And here it should change to the actual values. So here we have the values for the stop loss. Let me just make it, yeah, whatever. This is the values for the stop loss and the take profit. So I know it's going to be available to me when it's when the alert message gets sent. And because we are passing it through the strategy.entry and strategy.exit methods, all the normal placeholders that you're used to using are strategy alerts. Oh, wrong place. All the normal placeholders that you're normally used to using, position size, order contracts, all that sort of thing, will still be available to you. You don't have to create you don't have to create your own custom tags for those. But you can imagine that you can have this can get pretty complex, and you can set up in this tags method all kinds of different replacement, all kinds of different conditions, things that are only true for long and short or different times of days. You can really beef this up if you wanted to. So let's just get the JSON string that we need. So here would be, you can see my screen right now. I have to. So
you can't see the other screen. You can see just your TradingView there.
Right. So over here, action. This is action buy, right? I forgot off the top of my
head. Yes.
And then I want to, what the user was saying is that they want to send the take profit and stop loss at the same time.
Correct.
So I'm going to go ahead and send the documentation.
Don't forget the double quotes around the ticker. John just called that out. You've got eyes on your syntax from multiple viewers here, so you will not be making any mistakes. This is great.
All right, so stop loss. We'll use the price. Oh, I could have just passed the percentage. So yeah, I could have just passed the percentage there.
You could have. Well, I think it's better to pass the exact price, because yeah, he's going to want to calculate the exact price based on whatever algorithm he's using for previous candles.
Right. So let's see. So it's amount, right? Stop price. Should I use amount, stop price, or limit price? Let me see here.
No, you can do type stop and stop price and set the exact price.
Right. No stop price here, and then
as the stop price, you have to set the placeholder.
Is this in it? No, I don't have that. Is this what it is? Stop. Yeah, this has to be stop here. Then stop price, then stop loss. And then I need to take profit.
And so I like this method better. I was going to suggest we use the plot_0, plot_1 method, but I like what you're doing here better, because this allows you to actually name the variables or placeholders yourself and then replace them using your tags method, right?
Yeah, and if you change the order of your plots, well, then you're screwed. You have to change everything again. You forget where you're at.
It's a really good point. I actually think it's a design flaw that TradingView designed it to where you set the placeholder based on the plot position. You just change the order of those, and now the variables don't make any sense anymore. Right. They should have made it to where you could assign it to a variable or assign it to a placeholder.
Right. And then so that's for exit. Oh, sorry, for selling. And if I wanted to exit, at those locations.
Great.
All looks good to us. I could always hard code this directly inside of there, but let's just do it this way first. There we go. So now what would that look like if we log that? Yeah, so it should be log. And we see that my JSON string has the prices replaced with the tags, which is great. Before we had to use labels and paste it onto the chart, or have a table and paste it onto the chart. That was freaking crazy. All right. Well, I know I've taken a chunk of time doing this part here, Mike. We did want to send an alert to go over, but I think this essentially answers the user's question at least the first part. And so what we were saying before is that the bracket order is sent, but it doesn't prevent this end of session trade from happening, where when that closes, those 2 bracket orders will be will get canceled automatically.
That's right.
Someone else was asking inside of Discord, like, what happens though if like I was just partially exiting the position? Yes, that also would destroy the 2 bracket orders, and you would have to then create a new a new take profit stop loss in order to reactivate that
with your remaining
right?
quantity. Yeah, that gets a little more a little more sophisticated, where we can't really adjust your existing take profit or stop loss. You would have to cancel the whole thing, exit the amount you want to exit, and then send a new take limit order and stop limit order in order to replace what you had before.
That's right. Okay, so we'll leave it there like this. And I'll save this. This is a good enough walkthrough. I think this is pretty good. I think it'll be useful for people. I'm pretty interested in getting your feedback. Anyone's watching this, give me your feedback inside of Discord. And it'd be nice to see, okay, what might be nice to tackle on future blueprints. I can't always guarantee that we'll be able to answer everyone on Blueprint or even in the support chat, but because this is not our bread and butter, we just want to show you these things are possible. But wherever it makes sense, like the one that we just did today, it'll be fun to do another Thursday show and walk through how we can do that.
Yeah, I think the best practice that I think you've illustrated here is really correctly utilizing those message strings and replacing the tags yourself. And then that gives you the ability to put the correct JSON payload in your strategy settings, which is a lot easier than actually trying to hard code a JSON string inside the Pine script, which I'm guilty of doing quite frequently.
Sure.
So I definitely need to even revise some of my own scripts to use this best practice. Nice work there.
What's great here is that you can do trailing stops, trailing profits. You can do offsets. You have a lot of control over what you can do. And as you can see, it's not like some crazy, hundreds of lines of code in order to get this done. So if you are not already a PineScript developer, and you wanted to try your hand at it, like this is something that that you really can do. It'll take a weekend, maybe a week or two, just to wrap your head around it, and then you're surrounded by people on TradersPost on Discord who would be happy to help you whenever we could find some time to do so. Not just us, but people there as well. So that's great. So we'll leave it there, Mike, and we'll be back next Thursday with another blueprint. But you'll see us tomorrow on After Hours. And boy, are we going to have so much to talk about.
It's been an interesting week for sure.
Exactly. All right. Anything else you want to say before we let it go?
I think that's it. This is a good one. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everyone.